Endymion's apparently an archetype now.
But I'm not complaining.
Each time a spell is activated, place a spell counter on it. When that spell resolves, they each have this effect, and you can remove 3 spell counters from them to summon it from your pendulum zone, and a monster you can place a spell counter on from your hand, deck, or extra deck, then place a spell counter on them. Graveyard isn't mentioned because these are pendulum monsters, so they shouldn't be in the graveyard ever. But in the case they end up there for some strange reason, Guidance to Spell Salvation can add one to your hand. You like how I
snuck that in there?
What else?
If this card special summon, you can target another card you control with a spell counters and one card your opponent controls. Return that card you control and that card your opponent controls to the hand, and place spell counters on this equal to the number of spell counters that were on that card returned from your field. Let's assume you summoned her from the pendulum zone, which means you also had to summon something from your hand that could hold a spell counter. That effect sets up for this one, since you can just return the monster you summoned, but you don't have to do that. You could pendulum summon. Scales 2 and 8. She's 7, and so is Endymion, Servant, and Magister are level 3. I'm pretty sure they did that
On purpose.
when this card or spell card is destroyed by battle, you can add an Endymion card from your deck to your hand. You can't search spell power control. That sucks, but you can search the lab, Endymion, a copy of herself, a servant, magister, magical citadel, and other things I ain't feel like mentioning because they suck. The point is you have a plethora of things to search. When this card declares an attack, you can place a spell counter on it. You're attacking with
this
once per opponent's turn. You can remove 3 spell counters from your field. Special summon the monsters you can place spell counter on from your deck. You can summon Empress, which will trigger her effect, but you can also summon Endymion. Keep in mind, he is not protected unless he has at least 1 spell counter on it, and this doesn't give him a spell counter, but he can still negate, which will place spell counters on him.
So I guess that doesn't really matter too much.
If this card in the monster zone is destroyed, you can place this card in your pendulum zone, then place spell counters on this card equal to the number of spell counters that were on this card. So basically it puts itself back in the pendulum zone to summon itself and a pendulum monster that could hold a spell counter from your extra deck.
Again.
I can dig that. This card with a spell counter can attack directly. I don't understand why this effect is here. Once per opponent's turn, you can discard a card, place a spell counter on this card for each card you control that you can place a spell counter on, and if this card in the monster zone is destroyed, it has the same exact effect Magister does. It seems to me she does nothing in the monster zone but hold counters to be removed to summon Endymion and to be bounced with Empress or Endymion, which is perfectly fine, but her pendulum effect is where it's at. This card's name becomes Magical Citadel of Endymion while in the spell attract zone, so you can summon Master Magician?
Who?
Once per turn after damage calculation, if your spell catch is destroyed by battle, you can remove 6 spell counters from your field. Special summon a level 7 or higher spell catch from your hand or deck. Seeing the support and all, you should have no problem getting 6 counters for this. My problem, however, is the by battle part, but at least this can hold counters, is searchable with spell power control, so it's not like you really need to play 3, or any for that matter. And you don't have to summon Endymion or Empress. You could also summon Master Cerberus, but that by battle part?
Terrible.
If Konami wants to make something good, they do it. I never really cared for spell counters because the majority of the cards before Endymion sucked, and now here we are. It took how long to get a good, and I don't mean I mean a really good Endymion, because let's be real here, Endymion is the star of the show. He's the reason this structure deck is appealing. Everything else supports him, and it should, considering he's the founding sorcerer supreme. Not once did I say anything about competitive viability, because it don't matter to me. What matters is there's actually a good reason for people to actually play a spell counter based deck, all thanks to this card right here.
And the other cards in the structure deck.
That boy's good!
Thanks for watching. Just go ask if your dad shows up to click what to watch with if you would like.
Help me!
Without spending your money, but my Patreon's in the description if you happen to feel just a little bit generous. Discord server link in the description. Thank you very much.
I appreciate you.